we have something that is not Walking Dead music.
Oh.
I don't like change.
What is this music? I like it. I like this. It's a very good
groovy,
feel.
right?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was another one. I've got one that starts like this and goes into kind of a hard rock thing, which was very appropriate.
Did you want to start it over?
You know what? Let's not stop the recording, but let's start the music over. What do you think? All right, you ready?
JP, shut up. I like that a lot.
Wait for it.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we are talking zombie apocalypse survival, while we wait for The Walking Dead to come back.
That's hard, man. I like that. I like that.
I feel like I'm a WCW wrestler coming down the ramp.
It's so special. That's what I actually use when I talk on the radio. That's one of the music tracks.
Really?
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. It's like the WCW video game where the
That's a long time ago, man.
It was a while back.
Back when WWF was WWF.
I still play the game, though, on the N64.
I bet you do.
WCW NWO Revenge.
Ooh.
I used to have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're talking surviving the zombie apocalypse. We had someone in our comment section suggest that we do. I think it was it Lisa Jet?
Elisa
Was
Jet,
it Lisa
probably.
Jet?
Elisa Jet and Michonne Grimes reference and suggest
You
a lot of
two
things.
are
I like
our
it.
unofficial comment section managers.
If they're not in the comments, I am worried.
Right, like I need, I want
Just
to
wanna
message
say that.
someone who knows them to be like, please tell me they're okay.
Check on them once a week, go
Right.
by their house, bring them some food or something, talk to
Yeah,
them, keep
because
them company.
you two are, like I said, our unofficial yet official comment section managers. So we were talking zombie apocalypse and how we would survive. I think we've kind of briefly covered this before.
We've mentioned it.
Yeah, I would just ride your coattails. That's all I would do.
You would just follow me.
Absolutely. That's how I would survive.
And JP says that he would probably outlast me, but only because he would sacrifice me to save himself.
And I would cannibalize children. Just
Why chill? Like, why
So
just
Matt,
chill?
we
it's just-
officially know that when the zombie apocalypse happens, you and I are pairing up, and we're gonna just kind of like leave JP.
It's either eat babies or be Justin's bitch. Either way, I am not doing well
I don't
in a
want
zombie
sex from you.
apocalypse.
I may ask you, hey, run and grab that for me.
Yeah, I meant more
but,
like a bitch boy. I don't think I mean, unless you're going to make me, because you could probably hold me down. I wouldn't be able to fight it.
It's hard
I mean,
times,
I would try,
man.
but
The
hard
apocalypse,
times,
yeah.
really? Is that the way you want to phrase that?
Hard times.
Yeah. Okay.
It's getting real hard up around here.
All right. That's
But so JP, what we would do with JP is we'd put him on a raft and be like, all right, we're going to cross the river. JP, you're going first. Just push him and let him get across. And then he's like, where are you guys going?
See, and then he comes back like 2 or 3 seasons later,
Right.
more hardened and more ready for battle.
Our apocalypse is writing itself.
Oh man, and we brought him to that final outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
created our own nemesis.
Right. I
by
love
doing
it.
that.
I love it. Yeah, I think that number one, I think, again, Lisa Jet had the idea of a chicken farm. That is a great idea. I do. Chickens are easy to maintain. They reproduce. If you can get you some
Eggs,
rabbits,
yeah. Oh, wow,
put some
yeah.
rabbits in a pen. All you need
Yeah.
is a guy and a girl, throw them in there together, and they will reproduce like crazy.
But it does bring up an interesting question. What would you feed the chickens?
Right. Because, like I said, it could affect them. Like you think, oh, they'll eat anything, and that might be okay. You never know. You might just throw them whatever, and they still go. But you kind of got to make sure you're feeding them. If you're feeding yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you're feeding. Make sure, because the wrong stuff could halt egg production.
Nobody wants that.
Rotten
No.
eggs,
Oh, God,
so
no.
Well,
it is a good
If
question.
we learned one thing from Ezekiel, you can feed hogs the walkers. They'll eat the
But
walkers.
I don't know that I want to eat the hogs after they've eaten
Yeah,
the
yeah.
walkers.
Have they eat the hogs that have eaten the walkers?
I don't think it really affects as far
We
as
haven't
getting
seen. They
infected.
haven't hit on that. Yeah, they
It's
haven't
so
went back and
confusing.
readdressed that. Like
The
I
animal
forgot all
life,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah, because Negan and his saviors have not even mentioned getting pigs.
Yeah.
Like I hope that'll come into play later.
I think it's a non-issue. I think pigs just digest so much random crap that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and
Is
it
that
could
how
be
that
they
works?
weren't trying to poison the saviors. Perhaps they just were feeding the pigs to fatten them up. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I never thought, because they got the slop and everything. You're just feeding them all sorts of crap anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So let's take it to ground zero. Okay, the zombie apocalypse happens. What are you gonna do?
well, first we have to figure out, where are we? Would we all
We're
be
in this building.
We're sitting right here, and all of a sudden
for the entertainment of our listeners, because see,
comes
we get
on, yeah.
EAS reports at a radio station studio, and one comes in saying that a cannibalistic virus has broken out and that people are attacking each other. Blah 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 blah. We're all here together. How's it going to play out? Go.
we need to hit up that Walmart center right over there, or the Big Lot. No,
And with that, you probably
because that's
just
the closest
died.
thing.
You're
What's
right.
the closest
You're
thing
right.
for us?
But the problem is, as densely populated as this road is, Everyone is going to Walmart.
So we need to stay in here?
Right.
This is why I'm following you, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You definitely want to go on supply runs, but at the initial outbreak, man, there's going to be panic. There's going to be riot. You go into that Walmart, people are ready to lose everything, and that includes not hesitating to kill you to get what they need.
Okay, fair enough.
Matt, you won't even go out on Black Friday, and you're talking about going to
that is very
Walmart
true.
on Zombie Apocalypse
true.
Day.
Yeah,
so you
good
don't
point.
want to hit up Walmart. Now, like I said, down the road, once they've kind of cleared out, I mean, it won't be that much left over, no doubt. But maybe you can kind of go behind and hope that maybe they all killed themselves.
Okay.
But you also got to remember how many people will probably be in there. I mean, just going in there in itself, if you're the first to go in and hadn't been cleared out, it's going to be a danger zone. There's aisles, that you got to worry about something coming up, So I mean, it's definitely got to be a team effort. I mean, we'd have to
come up with a game plan.
We'd have to have one
foremost.
person kind of keep watch and then kind of go in 2-man teams. Aisles. So basically one person go down the aisle while the other's watching an aisle over for them.
So how are we going to get firearms or anything like that?
First we have to go to my house.
Right.
That was the next part of my plan was I think unless you might, but I think of the three of us I'm probably the heaviest armed.
I could,
unless you two are hiding weapons you've yet to show me.
I have a lot of ninja weapons. Would they help us?
They would help
I'm not
us
really
actually.
good with hand-to-hand con. Unless they're like throwing stars. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I could see JP just pacing around, just being like, I got to find some babies, man. We got to find some babies. JP, what's wrong? We got to find some babies. We're going to go hungry if we don't find some babies.
Look, it's just something cannibalizing children. It's something I've always wanted to do, and it just seems like the best arena to do it,
That's on your bucket list. Good
Man.
to know.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is at least get to my house first so that I could shoot JP in the head as opposed to strain. I care about you too much to kill you in a way that will make you suffer. So I would rather just put a bullet in your head than strangle you.
Nice little
No.
Lizzie
I don't want to give you the
situation going on.
Morgan.
You're a grown Lizzie. That's pretty much what you are.
Oh.
Was that her name, Lizzie? Was that it?
Talking about the girl that
Look at the
killed
flowers?
her.
Yeah, look at the flowers,
Yeah.
Lizzie. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll just say, JP, look at the flowers. Actually, I'd say, JP, you're a sick shit.
What do you tell him? Look at
Game over.
I think you guys would come around.
No, I don't.
Man.
All right, so as far as my game plan, and I know that it won't be immediate, the thing is that you got to remember is to not, as you hear, you can't panic and you can't make any rash decisions. Number one, this is a pretty populated street, so I mean, it's going to be pretty heavy with activity. So first, the way in my mind, just a couple of buildings over, there's that Walmart. There's going to be a lot of attention on that Walmart. People are going to be in there making noise. They're fighting. So any zombies or walkers that are going to come are probably going to head straight that direction because that's where the central noise is coming from on this street.
Okay.
So I'd give it a few hours and look for a clearing, and then we're going to go behind this building, and kind of try to get ourselves. Which actually, if the vehicle works, there's no reason why we couldn't take a vehicle.
Right. See, I would just get really nervous about.
But you don't want to get on the
shacking
main
up.
road, though. That's the problem because
Well,
the
you just
roads
take
are going to be congested. People are trying to get out of town. People are
back
trying to get
roads.
in. You hope, but there could be wrecks, lots of things. The main obstacle is going to be getting to my house.
Right.
Because that's
it
about
makes
30
me
minutes
nervous
away from
to
here.
shack up here because of the glass doors and all the people could break into here.
Well, the good thing is though, I really feel like you're right. People could break in, but we're just a radio station. People have no reason now. If you worked at a gun shop, a Walmart, a Food Lion, you don't want to stay locked in there.
That's true.
Because people are going to be trying to get in. At the radio station, now people might be seeking shelter. Hey, cut the lights off, lock the doors. I really do feel like,
maybe the
someone
radio
might
station
break
will have
in,
information. Maybe they can tell us something.
You're right. Hey, there's a basement level. That's what we'll do. There's a basement level with locking, sliding
I'm pretty sure
doors.
that the basement level's haunted though, and I don't know what I want to deal with more: zombies or ghosts.
I'm going to deal with the ghosts.
Okay.
Because the zombies, I mean, like there might
Ghosts
be a
will eat
few
you from
ghosts.
the inside.
There might be a few ghosts down there, but I mean, we're not going to be there long. Mainly, we want to let the wave pass over so that we can sneak out the back.
Following you. Keep going. I got it. Go ahead.
But the goal is to get to my house.
Okay.
By doing that, we definitely need to secure a vehicle, but I mean, it's going to be hard because a lot of the roads are going to be congested. But the first thing is we've got to get armed, and I'm only going for my house right now because that's where I know it is.
Are we taking the van?
You know what? I
Because we
would
got to load
like.
up the water cooler.
There's pros and cons. Now we do have water coolers, so we will definitely grab all of the water.
All the ketchup packets, just in case.
Not as important, but we can.
Some of those have congealed, dude. I was eating.
But do you know how
earlier.
bland
The mayonnaise
JP's
packets?
babies are going to taste without those ketchup packets?
JP hates mayonnaise.
I do hate mayonnaise.
Would you eat a? Never mind.
So if you want to get rid of JP, just squirt some mayonnaise on him.
Good
And
to
he'll
know.
just
That's
kinda run
so
and take
funny.
care of himself.
That's so funny.
Way more disgusting than an undead cannibal.
Okay. All right.
But so basically, we're trying to get, and I mean that's just one of many, many scenarios. I mean, I want to get home to get some weapons, but I mean we might not be able to get home. The roads may be. I mean, we've got the 29 out here will probably be very congested.
Best case scenario, we make it to your. Worst case scenario, we die here.
Right.
Best case scenario, we make it to your house. Then what?
All right. Then once we get to my house, see, my house is kind of in a neighborhood.
It's true.
So we
My house is in
probably
a neighborhood
don't want to
too.
stay there too long. Now,
Right.
while I'll say it, knowing my neighborhood, it's not crazy heavily populated.
Right.
It's a couple of houses there, but it's not as thick. So I want to get there, get weapons, pick up my dog. I guess my girlfriend can come too. No, I'm just playing. Obviously, my girlfriend, my dog. Load up on guns, knives, foods. I mean, the good thing is we have a lot of like Chef Boyardee and tuna things non-perishables that'll hold for a while. And so I guess we did take the van to get
And
here. We'll need as much
actually
room.
you're not too far from the water, right? Like the river.
There's a creek in my backyard.
right?
Yeah.
So and that creek will run into the river. If worst comes to worst, couldn't we take the river downstream?
We could. Here's my plan if we can get there. And the good thing is it is mostly back roads. And though I'm not saying out the gate we need to be on the road as much as possible. I think we need to choose your lane, like pick an objective, get there, and then wait for our opportunity for the next. So this process may take a few days.
Right.
I'm not saying we do this all immediately, but I know of a house that is humongous that we can take, people to. You can have a lot of people survive there. It's actually a farm. It's gated. And that I can tell you in a real life scenario, that's my ultimate goal is to get there. No one lives there. It's humongous. It's easy to secure. You've got lots of vantage points. You can see out all of the land. You can't see it from the road. The driveway would be easy to disguise. That's my ultimate plan. We survive there, raise chickens, and
Keep JP from eating babies.
right. We lock him in the barn.
Well,
Right.
one thing you brought up is your dogs, and as a dog owner, I'm always thinking, dogs are going to be barking at zombies, and your main
they're
goal is to keep quiet.
So we're gonna have to kill our dogs.
I mean, that's what would break my heart, man. It's a lot like I brought it up the last episode of
Hey,
MASH.
muzzles. We'll just get muzzles.
Will that
And
work?
they do have those
Hell yeah.
like bark, like collar
Hell yeah.
things. But
Yeah.
Shot collars?
I mean, I don't support ever tying your dog's mouth shut, but I mean, if it's to keep it getting eaten from undead
That's true.
hordes,
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
we could just tie their muzzles shut, maybe long enough to, not too tight to where it hurts, but just tight enough to where they can't get more than like a poof out.
I think a lot of rules and ethics fly out the window when it comes
They
to
do.
the
Oh,
zombie
yeah, they do. Like
apocalypse, yeah.
JP's, we're sitting here talking. JP's going to die. We're going to kill JP
Fairly
within the
certain
first
of
few
it.
minutes.
I think you'll adopt my lifestyle.
But I don't know,
Adopt
so-
a bunch of babies so you don't eat them.
Here are some questions because really it is hard to draw out this scenario without specifics. It's almost like Dungeons and Dragons. I almost need you know what I'm
You're
saying?
a
Like to
dungeon
do this
master
because there's
before, yeah.
always I can say we want to get to my house and someone can counter with, well, that's a 30-minute drive.
I rolled a
and you're gonna-
7. I'm dead.
Right, and so it's really hard to it would depend on the scenario. I mean, we say that and they might be crowding our doors trying to get in, so we might have to figure a way to get out the back. One thing people never think about: we Jurassic Park that shit, man. We get up in the ceiling tiles if we had to.
You think that would hold? I mean, maybe you, but that's not gonna. That is some thin.
You know what you
board.
do?
What do they call that?
Go up right here at the wall. Just straddle the wall. That's the strongest point of it.
What about me makes you think that I can climb and straddle anything?
You're
Justin?
right, JP. Ceilings. Matt's going to be running around distracting the zombies.
Oh, good. We
Sorry.
all have
In
our
this
places
scenario,
on the
you
team.
die.
Good to know. All right, fair enough.
I love to straddle. So.
Oh, yep, there it is.
But so yeah,
You're really good at it. Yeah.
But so
That
it
sounded
really
weird.
just depends. So I guess more or less what we could do to make this, because it really, I think the easier way to do this would be for you, the listener, to comment below questions on how we would handle a scenario, and let's go that way. Because like I said, without drawing this out and knowing exactly what's going on, it's really hard to narrow it down. Like, what would you do? Well, I don't know. Where are a lot of the zombies at? Is this? Are we talking fast zombies? Are we talking slow zombies? Are we talking? Government's trying to kill us too, or how is this? Because I mean, for all we know, it could be like a zombie apocalypse breaks out, and the government is just like, whoop, done, contained it.
We're gonna shut that shit down right now.
Right. So we need more specifics. So I guess we could just do more questions. So like my idea. All right. So here's a good question for you two: are you strength in numbers, or more like trying to survive with a smaller, like just a handful of people, if not just the three of us, which would make you all more comfortable?
I would go at it either just with a couple of pals or just completely by myself. Just large numbers, man. The tribe always eats its own.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It's too difficult to keep up with a large group of people because somebody's going to die. If you have a smaller core group of strong people, then I think.
And see, that's
better
where the
off.
specifics come in, because now that's another question.
Who am I with? Yeah.
Well, who are you with? Then are there going to be in this scenario? Are we looking at like a walk? Because I actually read a study on crack.com that said, believe it or not, you wouldn't have so many. I mean, people do kill each other, yes, but in a crisis like the zombie apocalypse, you wouldn't have as many warring factions as you think because we're very social creatures by nature. So we want to connect with other people. So what you would have is, people, a lot more people helping each other out than you think. But the question is, okay, well, if we're doing small groups in this world, are we doing warring factions? Do we have Negans out there with groups of people that want to kill us? And if so, how do we handle that? Because because you're right. Now, when it comes to things like food rations, getting out of things in a tight pinch, there's lots of advantages to having a small group of people. There absolutely, like just the three of us would be way easier. We can get out quick. We don't have to wait on no one. We don't have to protect anyone but ourselves. Food would be easier to split. You can cook really well, so we take advantage of that. And all the while keeping JP away from any babies.
Got to keep.
You'd have JPs out there that want to eat babies.
Well, I mean, toddlers too. Pretty much anyone younger.
What's the cutoff age that we're talking here? Like, when does the meat start to spoil? You know what I'm saying?
You want to get them
like, what is a toddler, like below 3 or
you don't want the cartilage to start to harden,
right? Why do you know so much about
that? That's what's disturbing.
The older you get, the more your joints stiffen, the harder the cartilage gets. We really want to keep it younger than 10 years old.
I mean, that is true though. Like, veal is better than lamb.
Absolutely.
So or veal is, what is veal? Cow, just young cow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had veal. I've just been told it's better.
Oh, it's really good, man.
That's
really
something
tender.
we won't have in the Walking Dead
No.
Zombie Apocalypse, veal.
No.
But so, there's advantages to strengths and numbers. There's advantages. I mean, when it's like I said, there's give and take. I mean, you got the good thing about strength and numbers is that if someone wants to go to war, as we see with Negan, numbers win right now. You've got the most people. It's easier to. Somebody comes in to attack you and they have to go back and say, "Holy hell, there's like 70 of them in there." That's intimidating with like a group of 5 marauders or 10, 20. But again, then you've got to feed all 70 of those people. And that's the problem. See, that's what sucks is you like to think, okay, well, it'd be great because everyone would pull their weight, but they wouldn't. So essentially what would happen is you'd have some people going out hunting, some people out farming, and then some people not, like your Eugenes who maybe would start benefiting down the road. But in the beginning would just be cowards and not, because I think what you need in the initial is you need people who know how to get food, and then you need people who know how to defend. That's like your
But what I don't understand
two.
is when you become a dictator like Negan is, how do people, especially in that kind of situation,
how do you keep everyone behind you?
Yeah, like how do you kill
Not
like
get
1 or 2
stabbed in
people
the
and then
back.
68 other people not jump up and be like, come on guys, we could take them.
Right. I think it's all about a love. I really think with like Negan, I think he's got a lot of lost people who really don't think that they could do it on their own, and so Negan has the answers. I mean, I'm not going to get religious here, but let's face it, that's the deal with a lot of like religion too. Is like because you hear and I'm not downing anybody's religion, but like you have some of these crazy preachers. The stuff they speak makes no damn sense, none. I mean, they're touching people, and somehow people believe they're healed. Yet, do they not have a congregation of hundreds and thousands of people there every Sunday believing every word they say? All you got to do is sound like you know what you're talking about. They're going to follow the person. The weaker people are going to follow the one that has the game plan.
But I feel like Negan. Go ahead.
He reminds me a lot of John Smith. That was Jamestown Plantation, right? John Smith, and his whole thing was you don't eat if you don't work, and that's kind of Negan's thing. I mean, he's basically made slaves of his people, and
see, that's what sucks because he's got a good point in that situation. Like if you've got everybody needs to do something to contribute, whether you're on guard duty, whether you're help hunting, farming, whatever. But at the same time, if they don't and you enforce it, then you're almost at slave labor at that point.
Right, which Negan rules by fear. Like that's the thing. Like how do you rule that many people out of just they're scared of you?
Well, and that's where a smaller group's easier to control because say you've got 10 of us, we all know each other, and just say I don't know, one of us is the elected leader. We all know and have a respect for each other, so it's easier to follow and easier to what's the word I'm looking
cohabitate?
for? Well, to make plans together. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a respect for each other, that's your friend that's in the lead position, so you don't want to hurt them.
Right.
Whereas you start getting a large enough group, half these people don't even know the person in charge, and that's where you start getting people forming little alliances and rebellions, and you know what I'm saying. So it's a really hard. Strength in numbers would be a hard. It's an advantage, but it would be a disadvantage. That's why it's great to have this discussion because I'm not.
I would like for our listeners to post some more questions about like very specific.
It'd be easier to do if we had some questions to go
Not just like what would you do, but like, okay, so we already know where we would go.
Because I would kick some ass and survive. That's what I would
Your
do in the
foot's
zombie
go
apocalypse.
straight through their body.
Right.
Because they're just so deep.
Up
this
their ass,
early,
out their
yeah,
stomach, and
okay.
I'm going to survive, and they're going to die.
Well, so we know that we would get out of here and get to your house as quick as possible.
Right.
Because that's where all the firearms and stuff
That's
are.
what I would. That
So we
would
know
be
that's our
my
jump-off
initial
point.
game plan
Right.
is to get to my house.
All the while keeping JP from eating babies.
Because people will. Some people may argue and tell you need to go to certain locations, but again, you got to remember, man, sporting goods stores. Grocery stores, that's places everyone's thinking they need to go and buy, and I'm telling you, it's a dangerous place to go unless you're going to roll in there with like an armored truck and machine guns. You're gonna get riots. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get like mob. I don't even know the word. Killed by a mob.
Okay,
whatever that term would be.
Killed by a
mob
mob.
stomped. But no, I mean, what am I going to do in the apocalypse? I'm going to survive. I don't care who I've got to take out or what I've got to do. I'm going to survive.
I would head for a mountain lake. We have one about an hour north of us, and I mean, you have a
Well,
lot
see,
of scattered
right.
islands.
But the only
fresh
problem,
water,
I'll
fish.
tell you what, though, if you ever get attacked on that island, you are royally screwed. That's one issue with it, though. Like, say you've got a Negan group and they're coming rolling at you with about 5 to 10 boats. You're trapped. I mean, there's nowhere to go.
That's why you set up your defenses.
That's why you would actually be on the island, but have a few people out on the land.
Create a perimeter.
And that house I was telling you about, which is just an idea in my head, but it actually there is a real house that I know of that's very remote. There's no houses near it. I mean, for miles, there's no houses. It's gigantic. You could have enough people there. It's plenty of land to farm, to raise your chickens. You could hide it from the rest of the world and survive. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, like you were talking about remote, is what, the house I'm talking about going to is a very remote house. Like, I mean, it's out in the middle of the woods. You could very easily conceal the driveway, the gate, set up defenses, and it's about a 3-story house. I mean, this is a 17-room mansion I'm talking about that no one lives at. And only like a few people know about. Like, it's not even on the market for sale at the moment. So at the top of the house, you could post lookouts. There's barns. I mean, it's a lot of advantages to having. But yeah, I think remote is key. You don't want to be in the middle of a city.
Did you say 7-room or 17?
17
Yeah,
rooms.
thought, Jesus.
Well, let's just move there anyway. Why wait for the
I'm
apocalypse?
serious. They're like, yeah, let's go.
Matt,
ahead.
you do not want to see the basement, though. It's got one of those old-timey basements with the 2 double doors you open, and it's just dirt
that's
walls.
haunted. That's haunted.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
So it's some dude in the corner just standing there.
Put it this
crying.
way. This is how cool this house is. There is a pool there in the middle of the woods, a giant pool that was abandoned in around 1920.
Oh, wow.
There's an old wooden, like, it's, if you love old stuff, man, which that's completely something different, but this old house is freaking amazing. Like, there's a pool you have to walk through the woods to see that you really can't see unless you know what you're looking for. And it's this gated-in pool, and there's an old pool house. And I was talking to the lady that owns the property. She said, yeah, that pool was abandoned back in, like, the 20s or 30s. So it's been sitting there now for, God, coming up on, like, 100 years not being used. But the house itself is pretty solid. You could reinforce it, but it was built in the 1700s. It's been remodeled a few times. But like I said, remote is key, I think. I think you want to get, but like the chicken idea, perfect here. You're fenced in all the way around.
Gosh, you guys remember the chickens in 3? They ended up with some kind of avian flu.
That was
okay,
pigs.
There we go.
Was it pigs?
That was
caused
pigs,
that?
yeah. That was pigs. Because I remember Rick cut their legs and threw the pigs into the crowd of zombies. That was season 4,
Was
actually.
it 4?
Mm-hmm.
Darn,
It was the first half of season 4.
They were at the prison for a while.
Because everybody
They were.
was sick. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people were sick, and some were recovering when the governor attacked.
That's right. You didn't know. Oh, is this kid dying or is
Right.
That's right. I remember
Yep.
that. Yeah.
That kid apparently is on Phineas and Ferb as well.
Which one?
The Patrick, the kid that died in the shower that started everything.
Wow. That show ended like a little while ago. It was like one of Disney's longest running cartoons.
Booyah.
Really, really, really a cute show.
But, so what would I do to survive? It really depends on the scenarios. You got to paint a picture. That would be fun, like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing. If any listener has enough time on their hands, paint us a scenario. Like, give us a story. Inbox it. Send it to our email. Just
Be our dungeon master.
what is it? podcastingdeadpodcast@gmail.com.
Take your word for it. Sure. Yeah.
Just send it to us. If you want to paint a scenario, you're at your blah, 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 blah. If you want to start us all separate, I mean, just for your entertainment, because it is really hard to go on how we would do this without some guidelines.
Just saying.
Or just send us some guidelines, and maybe we could come up with something.
Oh, that'd be nice
But
too.
so sorry if it wasn't quite as specific as you'd like. But again, it's too many variables you got to weigh in. Like, I mean, what kind of zombies are we dealing with? Is this has the government failed us?
I assume that
is
we're
it-
just dealing with Walking Dead zombies.
Right.
Like just
I would
slow,
hope, because
very lurching, yeah.
what am I going to do with DayZ zombie? Not what is it? Is it DayZ?
28 days
later. Zombies? No, not even. Yeah, those or the Brad Pitt
World War Z.
World War
There you
Z.
go.
I'm just going to put a bullet in my head.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's... Man.
I'm not going to deal with those zombies.
No, but we would survive somehow. I promise you. I'd keep you alive.
You're
Matt,
so sweet.
Especially you,
thank
JP.
you. Okay,
I don't
well,
know
I
so
didn't know
much
that
with your
was gonna go
baby
that
eating
way.
habits.
No, like I said, you guys would get on board. Once you taste the fricassee,
You
you would
seem
love
so
it.
confident about it. I just don't understand.
Once you see how
Like, I want to
tasty-
think you're joking for the sake of comedy, but then you're drooling.
Once you see how
I mean,
tender
it's
and
the same.
flavorful the meat is,
He's-
especially the haunches,
He's painted a picture with words. And the haunches?
you're gonna love it.
JP, you've needed that quite a bit.
Matt, as a foodie, believe me,
There
will be no
true,
turning
but
back for you.
I think I draw a line at certain foods.
Well, that's because
Just
you haven't
saying.
tasted it.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
said the
Don't
same
knock it
thing
till you
about
try it, yeah.
foie gras.
That is true. That is true. And if I would
And
have known
now
that
you
was
love
duck
it.
JP,
liver,
you've
then I
earned
would've-
this.
No, what's going
Don't
on?
say weird shit.
Don't do it.
Why would you say that?
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Very first time.
You're electrocuting my chair, and I guess it's supposed to hurt, but
yeah,
it just
you
feels
look
really
like You're
good.
enjoying that tingle. The first time that you did that, some dudes came in here and scrubbed me clean, and I did not appreciate that. So I was really nervous when you played.
They
that.
just don't want to touch me. Is the
Yeah.
thing.
Is that what it is?
Guys,
Yeah.
back off. All right. They won't touch you this time, I promise.
Thank you.
But so, yeah, paint us some
They look
pictures.
nice.
Tell us what kind of things we're trying to survive, and we will be thrilled to do another how we would survive your zombie apocalypse. That would be the best way to put it, right?
That's good,
How
that's
we
good.
would survive your zombie apocalypse. My goal would be to keep these two alive,
Well,
which would probably get
Thank
me
you
killed
for-
by JP's hand. I don't think Matt would betray me. JP, I think, would probably throw me out in a crowd of zombies.
I mean, you know.
thank you for your faith. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Because if you do, I will kill you.
Yeah.
And you too,
take that.
JP.
Yeah.
I'm telling I hate these movies where it's like, someone gets bitten, but, let's keep them alive. Well, maybe they'll be fine. And they eventually bite someone and turn and all this stuff.
Yeah.
No.
If I see someone sweating heavy, I'm going to assume you were bitten and I'm going
Oh,
to
I'm
put you
already
down.
dead then, because I'll look at something weird and start sweating heavily.
Yeah,
so
if
I
you're
don't
looking
know.
clammy, I'm gonna
It
put
does
you
not,
down.
bro. I'll walk like a couple of feet down the road and I'll start sweating. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not taking the chance.
And
That's
then
all
one
all
thing
right.
I would do is teach you two a lot so that you could help me to survive once we get, like we're saying, once the initial wave hits and we've been surviving for a little while. I would teach you both the little bit I know about, shooting, maybe some martial arts, and then, we could all teach each other stuff to help us be the ultimate survivor. Machine, so thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, tell us what you want to hear. Next week, JP is going to compare Negan to Cortez and...
Well, Rick is Cortez.
Rick is Cortez. Negan is
Montezuma.
Montezuma.
I hope I'm saying that right.
That's going to be
Close
exciting.
enough.
Startling similarities.
City of Gold.
We'll see you next week.